Well, welcome to Rev Up 3. This is Thomas Watson. I am a real estate agent, I'm broker in charge, and also your instructor for this Rev Up series. So let's get started. What is Rev Up? So Rev Up is what we call it is our learning lessons and plan from business startup to implementation, and anything that you want to know about real estate. Somehow the topic is contained within Rev Up. Now, we don't have everything that you want to know about real estate, but we have the basics of business building. So what we want to talk about this morning is building your database, which is a really vital part of your business. And I can't stress enough, you're going to see it through this presentation, but your database is everything. Think about your database as your gold mine, your bank account, your wallet, purse, whatever you go into to grab money. This is really your, give me a sec. This is where the money happens. So bear with me. I've got some allergy issues going on. So let me see if I can make it through. All right. So we have some learning objectives. Before I get started, so what I usually do, for sake of time, I try to get us through the lessons in 1 hour, but I do want you to have time to ask questions, maybe give an example of something or your story. So if you go ahead and mute when the time comes, I would like to ask you guys to unmute. And when I say guys, I don't mean just guys in general, but I mean guys and girls. All right, so back to the learning module. So here are some things some principles we're going to learn about the database. We're going to learn why it's the foundation of your business. So I think once you understand the why of the database, you'll get more busy building that database. We're going to talk about the 4 irrefutable laws of managing your database. And we're going to talk about circles of opportunities, which we often like to talk about, Realty One Group. And then we're going to talk about how to get predictable business from your database. And the key word here is predictable. So if we're working our database, we can predict our outcome, right? Pretty close. All right. What about using a client relationship manager, or CRM, as is often referred to? And why is online presence important? We talked about that last Rev Up session. If you didn't catch it, you'll get it next time around. And then how to create and maintain your online presence. So as we do with our Rev Up sessions, we start out with an affirmation. So I'm going to read this first, and then I'm going to ask you to unmute and say it with me. So today's affirmation is, I am happy, positive, and have a can-do, solution-oriented attitude. So if you would go ahead and unmute, and on 3, let's all say it together. And I know it's kind of small. All right, 1, 2, 3.
I'm
happy, positive, and have a can-do, solution-oriented
attitude.
All right, I love it. I love it. So these affirmations, it's not just saying them, but it's internalizing them. When we hear it audibly back to ourselves, it does something different within us. So I encourage you to say positive things aloud. If you want to do it with other people in the room, great, but do it in your car, do it in the morning when you get up. I do it when I'm taking a shower, whatever. Say these things because it's going to come back to you. You know, lots of times we'll get started out during the day. We're on a good positive note, and then 15 minutes into it, we're talking to somebody or looking at a bill or a bad email, and then we start thinking negative, right? So you got to have these affirmations handy. You got to be willing to say them aloud, and more than that, to actually believe it. So do you believe you're a happy, positive person with a can-do attitude? I believe you are. That's why you're here. So let's move on. All right. So when we talk about the importance of a database, you know, I don't really like the word database, but it seems to be kind of a generalized foundational word because we can call it different things. I mean, CRM is actually the technology, but a lot of us refer to our database as our CRM. Whatever it is, it's your book of business, it's your list, it's your Rolodex. Okay. So the core value of your business. Well, I want to give you at least two. There's probably lots more, but if you'll understand these two core values of your business, that now, if you're just starting out in real estate, this is your first 6 months, you might not be able to see this right away. But I will tell you, when I got back in, well, when I got into real estate in 2006, you know, I saw that there were agents who had been in the business a while. I saw there were agents who had a ton of business. And I thought, man, I'll never get there. But you know what? You do get there. I did get there. And consistency and perseverance is your ticket to building a great business out of real estate or out of, you know, any business really. So number one is the value of your business is that it can generate a steady stream of leads and or business. And when I say, again, the key word in here is steady. So lots of times in my real estate career, I can tell you it's been a roller coaster. And the times it's been a roller coaster is because I didn't use the systems, platforms, processes that I should have used on a regular basis. For example, you know, I would get into my first year, I closed 13. I had a full-time job, but I kind of went through my friends and family, right? After the year after that wasn't as great. I ran out of business that was coming to me, so I had to learn how to lead generate, right? So when you don't lead generate, you don't have that steady stream. So the principles we're going to teach you is how to lead generate on a daily, regular basis so you can have that steady stream of leads in business, which is what you must have to have a stable, consistent business in real estate. And then the second thing is to understand in the value of your business, potential business, is that this steady stream of leads or business can become your asset, your legacy, your exit strategy. There are many real estate agents who at the end of their life of their business, when they're getting ready to retire, and by the way, a lot of real estate agents, it's their second, third, or fourth career. But when you decide, hey, I'm going to exit the real estate business or the real estate scene, you can actually sell your database. There are agents who will give you cash dollars, okay, and or they will give you a percentage of their closings for a certain period of time. Just depends on how you work it out. But if you don't do anything to create a steady stream of business, then you don't have that option at the end when you decide to retire. Okay. All right. Keep those things in mind. I've seen it with my own two eyes. I have a database. Well, so here's the thing. One thing about a database is we want you to keep it in one place. Now, because there's so many opportunities out there and other types of platforms that we get into that generate databases, we end up with multiple databases. But at the end of the day, if we can take and download those spreadsheets into one workable database, that's what we want to do, and that's what we want to see. All right. What can a database deliver? Okay, so we talked about this a little bit, but a database can bring a solid referral-based business. I'm one of, well, pretty much our philosophy at Realty One Group is that we want you to have a sustainable business built on repeat referral business. Online leads are great, but they have their time and place. Do not build a business on leads alone. Don't think you're going to build a business on generating online leads and never solidifying relationships, getting to know people. You can do it. It'll be sustainable for a little while, but at some point, you're going to have to go back and rely on relationships the people who you know, love, and trust, or that know, love, and trust you. That's where the real business is going to come from. So we teach referral-based business. Also, that database has to be able to be consistent and reliable when it comes to revenue. So there are statistics that will show when you have a certain number of people in a database that you are talking to, touching, getting in touch with on a consistent basis, it will generate a return in a dollar amount. So depending, I know when I was with Keller Williams a while back, that they would like, hey, we want your database to be up between 2,500 and 3,000 because we know you can be a mega agent. I'm sorry, a capper with, you know, that many people in your database working it consistently. But here's the thing, stats, they're just stats. I guarantee you can take a 500 person database, and if they're good, if it's a good database, you can take it and work it like crazy, and you can be a millionaire real estate agent. Okay. Here's the way real estate works. Real estate is not a plus minus business. It's not an add subtract. It's a multiplication, exponential growth type of business. For example, when I talk to one person about, you know, buying or selling their home, that one person has the potential capability to talk to their friends and family about the conversation I had with them, which what increases my opportunity to do business with other people. Do you think every time I call 10 people, do you think those 10 people, okay, if I'm a reliable, consistent person, do you think they're going to keep that to themselves? I can tell you, I have people in my database that I've never sold a house to, but they referred me to multiple other people that's given me business. So that person is gold in my database. I don't care if I ever sell them a house. They are delivering for me. They are kind of my ambassador. So that's I can't begin to tell you all the different avenues of revenue that can come out of one database. It's all about relationships. And that's my soapbox. I'm gonna stay on it. I believe that if you're the type of agent who loves people, who wants to help people, it will come back to you. Now, sometimes that means going out of the way. I can't tell you how many bushes I've trimmed, how many yards I've cut out of my own dime, my own time, just to get a listing up. I mean, it goes way beyond that. Some of the stuff, cleaning out houses myself. Sometimes you got to be able to do the hard things. And it's not because you're trying to impress people. It's because you're going to get business done. And then people see that and they take it and they talk about it and they tell their friends about you. All right, Jessica, you have a question?
Please. So I'm on Brian's team and we use Follow Up Boss for our leads. And I take all of my leads except for the ones that tell me that they're working with another agent.
Yep.
But whether they respond to me or not, they all go into our lead contact.
Yep.
In the one or whatever it's called. And I set them all up for at least a holiday drip campaign.
Mm-hmm.
So that my name pops up every few months. But are there other campaigns that we should, or that I could be setting them up for?
Well, so
other recommendations.
So yes, but it depends on what you're trying to do. So, I mean, I have campaigns. We do have some pre-built campaigns, a few within our CRM, but think about what you want that campaign to do. You want that campaign to get somebody off the couch, right? To get on the phone and call you or email you back, or just to raise their hand and say, hey, I may be interested in real estate, buying or selling. So I think that the holidays are important. Yeah, I think that's a great approach. But you also have campaigns that once people do something in your database, then there's a campaign for that. Like once a person responds to one of your, say you send out a listing alert and they respond to it, then there's a campaign for that. Depending on, like, if you buy certain software products, like Follow Up Boss, I think Follow Up Boss, depending on what level that you buy into it, but they probably have hundreds of campaigns available. So you might want to talk to Brian about it. But I would say don't overload them with campaigns. Okay. Get one or two and stick to them, because again, consistency. But if you bombard people, I just call it, like, if you real estate vomit on them, they're going to go away. They're going to delete. They're going to they're going to hit unsubscribe.
Will we get any training on how to create our own campaigns from the CRM?
So most of that is at the mentor level, but yes, we do have classes on it. And in the one university, there are multiple courses that you can look up and take, whenever. But yes, so building the campaign, there's really, so if you go into our CRM and go, I can't remember, there's a video section. It will show you in like a 2-3 minute video how to build a campaign. If you can't find, let me know and I'll help you find it. But it's in one suite. Once you go to the back end, it's the top. It used to be at the very top of the bar to the right. I can't remember if it says what training or whatever, but there's video-based training in there that'll show you how to do that. Good question. Good question. And here's something else you need to know about a database. It can take 6 to 12 months to season a contact. Who knows what I mean about season? What does that mean? What do you do with a steak before you cook it? I don't know about you, but I season it. I get it. It makes it tender and tasty, right?
Yeah, get them ready, get them thinking about, do I really want to go with this person, or if this is really something I want to do, basically.
Right. Exactly. So it takes, on average, depends on who you listen to, but it takes 7 to 12 touches for somebody to respond to you. Okay. If that's the case, and we're going to see that later on in a slide, then that means we got to be talking to them multiple times in multiple ways. There's this thing called retargeting you can look at. You guys see it every day when you go to Facebook or when you go to Google and plug in a product, then you go to Facebook later and you see a product ad of the same type pop up. That's retargeting. So we can do that with clients as well. There are programs and softwares for that. All right. So plan your work and work your plan. Let me say this. If you don't plan, okay, if you don't make a plan, you will always end up working somebody else's plan. Now, if you're on the team, you are going to work on somebody else's plan, which is good, because the reason you got on that team is because that's what you needed, or that's what you need. But what I mean here is, if you don't have a plan, don't think your client or potential client doesn't have a plan or a mind of their own. If you don't have a plan to work through and to walk them through, they're going to walk you through their plan, which is really not much of a plan because they're not real estate professionals. So it's going to be the blind leading the blind. So you got to have a plan in all things real estate, and even a plan for making connections. So you want to think about, how many connections do I need to make? What type of connections would they be? How often do I talk to people? What will this cost me? All of this helps you stay top of mind. Most of the time I would tell people, hey, if they tell me they're working with another agent, my line is always, hey, that's great. Just remember me if something happens to that other agent. Okay. I want to be second person on the mind. So top of mind is where we want to be. When people think about real estate, whether they're in your friends and family sphere, you want them to think of you. Okay. That's the whole purpose. All right. So we have business planning and tracking results. So when it comes to business planning, we do have a whole workshop that either Amanda or Andrea teaches, I think a couple times a year. Business planning officially starts around August, September for the following year. And basically you're creating your roadmap for success. And in that roadmap, it'll tell you how many people you need to be talking to each day to meet your goals. We're not going to do that here, but you need to know that that's something that you need to work on. When it comes to tracking results, what I want you to know is the best agents know their stats. Okay. They know where their business is going. They know where it's been. And if you're not tracking anything, you need to start. Now, if you have a database that you're working, that you're adding people, that becomes a tracker for you. But what it's doing is it's making everybody accountable, every number accountable. So I started tracking my business in 2012, and I have spreadsheets for multiple years. I can go back and show you when I look at my business growth, I can go look at my sources and tell you where my leads or my business was coming from and what it looked like from year to year. So I can tell you from working my sphere of influence, that business exceeded the business I was making from Zillow. And let me say this, the business I made from Zillow wasn't easy. It costs a lot of money. It costs a lot of money to work with online leads, but it doesn't cost anything but a little bit of blood, sweat, and tears to work with people in your referral group, right? Or your sphere of influence. So depends on, that was still good business. I made money, but it was a lot harder. So guess what I did from then on once I had that realization? I focused more on my sphere of influence. I put more money into reaching those people, which was a whole lot less money than I was spending on online leads. All right, what are the 4 irrefutable laws of database? So these are, and if you don't remember these, remember the principles behind.
Hey, Tommy. We can't hear you if you're talking, just FYI.
Oh my gosh, somehow I muted myself.
That's
Okay.
okay.
Okay, all right. Oh, I know what I'm trying to move this bar around so I can see what's on the PowerPoint. And I must have hit mute. Sorry.
That's okay. I have a quick question. I just had to take a business call and I missed a part. Will we get access to this? Because I know it's recorded.
Yep, it'll be recorded so you can see Amanda. She'll post that, give you the link to it in a couple of days. Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So build it. That means adding people to your database, feed it daily, add at least 3 people a day, nurture it, and maintain it. So nurture it means we're going to make sure it's up to date. We're going to be making those calls as we should be. So for hot leads, I mean, you're calling them or emailing them once a day for the first several days, right? If it's somebody who's asking about a property and you're talking to them, you want to make sure that you're talking to them a couple times a week or touching them a couple times a week. That's what it means to nurture it and maintain it. Okay, again, I don't like the word maintain. I like the word growth, but maintaining as in always being with it, having it at your fingertips, knowing what's going on with it. What the normal course of duty for you when you work your day, one of the first things you should be doing when you get up before you start your day is pulling your database up on your computer and leaving it up so you can see it. And that way, when you talk to somebody, it will remind you, hey, I need to add this person or contact information, add them to a campaign, right? That's all part of maintaining. All right, we're going to scoot through here. Okay, so rule 1 is to actually build your database. So here's what I want you guys to do. I want you to take a pen and piece of paper, scrap paper, whatever. I'm going to give you a little exercise to do. Can everybody see their screen? Can you see the image? Okay, so I want you to draw 3 circles. Is everybody still with me?
I'm here.
Yeah.
Okay, I just lost video, so.
I'm here.
Okay, all right, as long as y'all are still there, that's all that matters. All right, draw 3 circles. Draw a little circle, and then draw a little bigger circle around it, and then draw a third circle around that. So you should have 3 concentric circles, just like what you see on the screen. In the middle, I just want you to write in the middle of that middle circle, just write sphere. These are your friends, family, or past clients if you've already closed a transaction. The second circle, I want you to write on it KLT, people who know, love, and trust you. And on the third circle, write don't know yet. Make it as very basic for you guys. Okay, so what I want you to do is I'm going to give you a minute. I want you to come up with at least 3 names for each of those circles, okay? I'll give you a minute and I'll be right back. So 3 names, 3 actual people or contacts, or 3 types of people that you want to put in your database. 1 minute, go. Okay, you can stop. Okay, so the point is here, you really can come up with 3 names each day to add to your database. So in the first circle, who will tell me okay, let me just start here. Which circle was easier to find or remember names?
Friends and family.
Okay, why is that, Brittany?
Because you don't have to work hard. You already know them.
Exactly. Okay, and by the way, let me make a comment. Your friends and family?
The worst. Sorry, I'm sorry. That's
Okay, Yeah, this is what I want to talk about, because here's me. When I got my real estate license, do you think my friends and family forgot who I was, my past?
Yeah, see what happens.
No, they
Like,
still.
I don't want to come back to this area since I'm in the area right now.
Yeah.
I was like, well, because I'm in the area, man.
So I don't know, is somebody talking to the group? Okay, all right. You might want to put yourself on mute if you're talking to somebody else. All right, so here's the thing about friends and family. Yes, they know who you are before real estate. Some of them won't take you serious in real estate until they see the results. Some will always see you as, like, I was known growing up as Little Tommy, okay? Because my dad, his name was Tommy. You don't get past some of those things, but these people who know, love, and trust you will still help you grow your business. You got to get the old the old stuff out of your head. Don't think, oh, I'm not talking to this person, I'm not talking to that cousin. Let everybody know you're in the business and let the chips fall where they may. Okay, you will be surprised and blessed when you start kicking off your business that people that you least suspected or expected to help will help you build your business. Okay, so that's my little thing about friends and family. However, there are some friends and some family that will not let you sell their house because you're too close. I've had it happen to be like 3 times in 17 years. One was a good friend. She told my wife, I'm not going to have Tommy sell our house because I'm going to be an ass to the real estate agent, and I don't want to be that to him. So, I mean, I was grateful that she didn't want to be an ass to me, but it still hurt my feelings that, hey, she didn't trust me enough to sell her house. But you're just going to have to get over things like that. It's going to happen. It doesn't mean anything negative about you. It's just how other people deal with things. There will be some family that will never let you sell their house. Don't worry about it. Do you know how many people are in the world? Do you know how many people live in the Charlotte area or wherever you're doing your business? Don't worry about it, but don't neglect to add them to your database. Okay. All right, we're going to move on. So that little exercise was to give you a little boost, mental boost. And when you sit down and lead generate, it's a lot easier than you think. It's easier starting with friends, family, past clients. Then the next circle is people we go to church with, people at the ballpark, people we know, or people who know of us. And then the last circle, that's actually what's going to come as a result of you building your business. As you get a website presence, as you chat or post things on social media, as you go door knocking, that's where that business is going to come from. Remember, I said real estate growth is a multiplication type of business. It's not addition at all. All right, you're going to learn how to categorize your business. So in your CRM, contact relationship manager, you're going to separate your contacts by type so you can send different messages by group. And this is a little bit on how to set up a campaign. Not really just a campaign, but campaigns come from types and sources. So what are some types? So what are some types of leads? I wish I had my CRM up. So I have one big group that I speak to in my databases. It's called past clients. People who have closed business with me go into that past client list and they get the best of everything. Because I believe that if they've bought and sold with me once, they may buy and sell with me again, or they can tell somebody else about my good services. So that is a contact type. Online lead or lead is another type. So a lead becomes a client or a past client through what? by doing business. Once a lead has a sit down with me, they're no longer a lead, they're a client. They stay leads until I have either a Zoom or an in-person interview. All right, next you're going to organize. You got to organize the contacts, right? So you want to separate them by source. You want to label them by where they come from. So that way you're differentiating between the potential customers and the sources from which they come from, or the referral source. So, so I might have that past client or that online lead, but they came from somewhere, right? Where did they come from? If it's an online lead, what portal did they come from? Did they come from Zillow? They come from some of you work the leads in our office, right? OpCity leads. I would just label them OpCity until they become until they have a sit down with me, and then they would become a client. Okay, so potential referral sources. So I've got I mean, they're hundreds. You want to label them by where they're coming from, so you know where your business came from. Now, if a friend refers somebody to me, let's say they referred a lead to me, I meet with them, and then we write a contract. That referral source, I have referred by personal sphere, and then in my notes in my database, I name who that person is. That way I can go back and thank them, send them a little gift for sending that referral. Does that make sense? All right, you might want to take a picture of this 1 minute script. We're not going to take time and do it, but I want you to rewrite this and say it, learn it from your own perspective, out of your own personality. So we call these elevator pitches. We call here at Realty One Group, we call it the 1 minute script. It actually doesn't take a minute, but if you meet somebody for the first time and you're going to tell them what you do, can you do that in less than 1 minute and do it in a way that conveys, you know, who you are and how good you are? So it's something as simple as, hello, my name's Tommy from Tom. Sorry, this is not the in-person script. This is the email script. So my name is Tommy. From time to time, I run across useful updates about the Charlotte area real estate market. I'm happy to send them to you. Is email or snail mail better for you? Now, I don't use snail mail anymore because snail mail is kind of outdated. It depends on the age of the person you're talking to. I would say if they're over 45, you could keep snail email or snail mail. Sorry. Actually, just take this out altogether, and I would say, is email or text better for you? Now, people will do what you lead them to do. So if you want people to email you rather than text, don't put the text option in there. But I give them the option because with a CRM, and there are a lot of other CRMs like Follow Up Boss, you can text as well as email right from the back end, right? Is everybody still with me? Somebody tell me if you can hear me.
Yes.
I can hear you.
Okay. For some reason, everybody's video went out, and I'm not sure why. All right. So all right, 3 things you want to make sure: you have consistent messaging, branded messages, and you want to be able to make personal connections with those messages. So you need a systematic approach. So you want your contacts to become automatically seasoned, okay, warmed up to you without being overwhelmed. Again, we can't hit them too much, but when we hit them, we want it to be strategic touches. So consistent messaging, we're saying the same thing, right? We're not giving them a different message every time. Branded messaging, we're giving them the same look. Okay, the same vibe. If your logo and your branding or your colors is different every time you send a message, you're just going to really confuse people. Okay, they're going to unsubscribe because they're going to say, oh, that person doesn't know who they are. And in those messages, you want to make sure that you're building relationships, you're making personal connections. All right, when it comes to nurturing your database, you got to have a way to introduce or announce yourself. So if you will put your email into the chat box at the end of this session, I will send out an email and I'll have an announcement letter for you to use. All you have to do is change your name and send it out. So it's an announcement letter. It says, hey, everybody, I'm new to real estate, yada, yada, yada. And you can send that out to everybody. You can send it out as an email or as a U.S. postal letter, whatever. But this goes for everything. So no matter what you use, you want to let your sphere of influence know that you're in the real estate business. I would do both. I would send out mass email, okay? And then I would send postcards to everybody that I had in my database. And if you don't have a database yet, I can help you come up with 25. All right. So these are 3 easy ways, okay? Who can tell me what the number one, if you were going to do one thing on the screen, which one would that be?
Announcement letter for me.
I agree.
Okay. That's personal preference. I can tell you, by far, stats show that when you call somebody, they hear your voice. That's the number one follow-up. Okay. That's behind a personal visit. So, but we don't have that on here. So these are all things you can do remote, but the personal phone call is number 1. The handwritten note card is number 2. So we're going backwards here. The postcard's number 3, the email is number 4. The point is you got to get the information out because nobody's going to respond if they don't know you exist.
Right.
But I will say, if you're not going to make the phone call, definitely do those things you just said. Send something out. All right, moving on. When it comes to social media, do you have a weekly plan? If you don't, we have one here for you. Take a screenshot, take a picture of this. So it's very simple. If you remember 3 CLP, make 3 comments a day on your social media. Now, I'm not going to get into social media. And I can tell you this, I use Facebook and Instagram. Whatever your social media outlet is, take it and use it. Okay. Don't think you got to start something new. Take what you're already using. That's where your people are. And by the way, the real answer is the people you're trying to reach, where are they at? Okay. If you've already been talking to them on Instagram for 5-6 years, that's where they're at. Okay. So 3 comments a day, then 3 comment likes. That means you're going to like something somebody else said a day, and then at least 1 post a week. That will give you a presence on social media. And the point is that you're not going to blast everybody real estate stuff. No, this is personal stuff. You're talking about everyday things of life. You're commenting on their everyday things of life. And then when you get a chance, you get to mention you're in the business. Or you go to DM them and say, hey, I resonated with what you said. I just want you to know, hey, this is who I am. If I can ever help you. And this is how you build your business through social media. Rule 4, maintain your database. So we talked about maintaining earlier. Another way to maintain your database is to delete people you don't want to work with. Now, I can tell you, I've worked with a lot of different CRMs, and the rep for those CRMs, all of them will never tell you to delete a contact, okay? Because you want people to self-delete. That's how you get rid of them. But I will tell you, we are all human beings. There are people in life that we should not be doing business with. There are people in life that set us off. There are people in life that make us feel less than human. Those people don't need to be in your database. By the way, there's a scripture reference in the Bible that says something about not throwing your pearls at swine, or don't give your good stuff to the pigs. I will say this: whenever you're building any business, growing your life, it's okay to be nice to everybody, but not everybody needs to be inside your relationship zone. Okay. And I'm saying this for a reason, because there are some people, if there's somebody in your life that has, that makes you angry and negative, you don't need them to be in this business growth circle. Okay. All right. So that's a little bit of a rant, but I want to be the one to give you permission to say that you can delete this person off your list. Don't let somebody get on your social media and be a negative ranter. Delete them. You don't need that. That's not how you grow a business. All right. So focus on positive, cooperative, and happy people. Again, you own this. You drive this. This is your business. All right. We're getting ready. We're getting close to closing out here. So I want you to, if you can, here, you may want to take another screenshot here. I want to run these stats by you, because I believe, just like me, you'll see an aha here. 48% of salespeople never follow up with a prospect. Okay. So almost half of us don't follow up at all. 25% of salespeople make a second contact and stop. Okay. Wow. 12% of salespeople only make 3 contacts and stop. So we're not very persevering in the sales field, right? All right, let me read the second line. 10% of salespeople make more than 3 contacts. 2% of salespeople, 2% of sales are made on the first contact. Wow. Even though the first contact counts, it's pretty low on the totem pole, right? 3% of sales are made on the second contact. All right, now I'm getting to the good stuff. The third line. 5% of sales are made on the third contact. Okay. So already we've almost doubled. 3% of sales are made on the second contact. So on the third contact, we've almost doubled. Okay. Now, 10% of sales are made on the fourth contact. We have doubled again from the third contact to the fourth contact. And then 80% of sales are made on the 5th to 12th contact. So I need somebody to unmute and tell me, give me the one liner. What does this mean?
Perseverance pays.
There you go. It's Kevin. All right. Thank you, sir. That means we have to be the ones to make the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th call. Now, I can tell you, I am not always that person. But if you will be that person, I will assure you, you will do well, not just in real estate, but in sales in general. That's what it takes. And again, it goes back to, if you know, love, and trust, if you love people, and I say, when I say love, I mean, we know love is a higher level than like. When I like somebody, I can tolerate them. I can put up with them. But when I love somebody, it's purposeful. There's meaning behind it. If you love people, you're going to continue that follow-up, because look, we can offer them something, a service beyond a level other agents won't give them. We can do business with them and do it better, because that's what we're called to. We want to perform to that standard. So we got to have that inside of us that says, I'm going to keep making these calls. Until somebody deletes you or tells you, do not call me again, you keep making the calls, the follow-ups. All right, when it comes to conversion, we have to identify their wants and needs. So we use wants and needs worksheets to help us understand why we need to ask the question, what is it that you want out of a new house? The real thing is we need to know the difference between what they need and what they want. We need to validate both, but their needs are going to be primary, right? And we need to be able to tell a client, you know what, based on your needs list, this wasn't on it. So we really need to reconsider. Do you want to add it to your needs list, or is it really not that important? When you can have those types of conversations, they know you're really listening. And that's what we call the consultative approach. It's not just me talking to a client or a client talking to me, but it's an actual Q&A dialogue between both of us. Being an agent who listens will automatically put you in a smaller category of agents who are productive, because a lot of agents, they just want to get on and make a win, right? They don't listen to the people. I can't tell you how much business I've gotten from people who have called me. Well, my last agent kept sending me to certain neighborhoods I didn't want to go look at houses in. Okay, tell me what those neighborhoods are, because I'll never send you there. It's the first thing I tell them. Okay. So you got to listen. When it comes to closing leads, it takes constant communication. You got to keep people informed. Even if there's nothing new to report, you need to figure that out. And I'm going to show you how. When I was working, and I'll just go back because online leads are harder. When I was working, there was 3 years that I was working Zillow leads. I mean, paying in excess of $2,000 a month just for Zillow leads. But you know what kept them calling? How I kept getting lead after lead is because I would pick up the phone really quick and I would have something of value to give them before I got off the phone with them. So sometimes that value was trust and knowing that I am going to email them exactly what they asked me for, or I'm going to meet them at a certain place and show them a property that they want to look at. So you got to understand what the client needs and values that they're trying to get. So, I mean, what the value, not what they value, but the value that you can give them. Okay. All right. When it comes to servicing leads. Okay. So the point here with this slide is that in communication, so we communicate in nonverbal ways, right? Whenever we're working with a client, whenever we're working with the lead, we always want them to understand that, hey, our business is built on working with other people. And along the way, as we're helping this person, while we're giving them value, we want to set ourselves up for success in receiving future leads, future prospects from everybody that we work with, right? So if we have that mentality that everybody we work with, we're going to tap into them, we're going to request, we're going to ask them for future business, then it doesn't make you look like the idiot at the end of the transaction. 2 months later is the first time you've asked them for business at the closing table. You don't want to do that. You want to season yourself with these individuals and set them up in such a way, or the relationship is that you can now ask them, hey, remember you mentioned your cousin, do you think they're ready to sell that house now, or whatever? So you're seasoning the relationship so that you can receive future business, and you're doing it throughout the process. What's an online presence? You can come back and get Rev Up number 2. We talk about this in depth, but it's you being visible on the internet. If people can't find you, you don't have an online presence. So we do give you a website. So the website you can customize as much as you want. That is a start in having a visibility. Most people will say, well, if I don't see you on social media, you don't exist. Well, there you go. They need to have access to your website, access to your social media. What does that look like? I think we've already answered these questions, but being present on social or online helps you generate and cultivate leads. By the way, if you make contact with somebody at 7 o'clock at night, they're probably busy eating dinner, getting the kids ready for bed. You probably sent them a property or whatever, or they're on your email list. They're probably going to lay down at 10 or 11 o'clock at night. They're going to look at that email. Then guess what they're going to do? They're going to click on a link and they're going to go look you up. They're going to see, who is this person that's emailing me? So they're in their minds, they've already pre-qualified you, if not, physically, before they even respond to you. So make sure your stuff looks good online. Make sure all your links work. So what you need to know about social media is that more than 1.5 billion users are on Facebook and Instagram. These numbers are probably old now. You can use the simple weekly 3-clip plan, the 3 CLP. And then the last thing is create a time block in your schedule and treat it as a task so you can actually do your online social media plan. All right, creating your online presence. We've already talked about different types of lead platforms. Just be aware that leads can cost you a lot of money. The reason we have OpCity leads available to our agents, and by the way, we have a number of agents that are making really good money from OpCity. You can talk to them, find out who they are. Text me later and I can tell you who they are. So, but the OpCity doesn't cost you anything up front. The cost is all on the backside after you've received your commission. So remember, consistent long-term follow-up is the key to success with leads. And it depends on the market you're in and the lead platform that you're using. Now with Rev Up, we kind of hinted around about this earlier, but who can tell me what the one habit is, or who can read this graphic and describe the one habit? Nobody's willing? Come on, somebody take a shot.
3 calls, 3 ads, and 6 notes.
Okay, so what that means, great. So 3 phone calls. You're calling 3 new people for business. You're adding those 3 people to your database. And then you're writing 3 handwritten note cards to the 3 people you just spoke to, and then 3 other handwritten note cards to 3 other people in your database that you haven't talked to lately. All right, this is a formula for success. This is a minimum standard, okay? When you really, if you'll give yourself an hour a day, you can add a whole lot. You can call a whole lot more people than this, right? But we don't want to overwhelm you. We know, we're being realistic here. This is a minimum. Do these 3. If you'll do these 3, 3, 6 minimums daily, you're still going to grow a big database. All right. We'll stop my screen share and I'm going to restart it, and I'm going to show you one more. Let's see. Should we adjust them? Let's see, can't find my stuff here. Here we go. Okay. All right. So this is, can y'all see my screen? Can y'all see these forms? Who can see the one habit on my screen?
I can see it.
All right, I'm gonna send you this. So day one, so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, you can write in, did you check off? Did you do these 3, 3, 6? I'm gonna send you a copy of this. Also, I'm gonna send you a copy of a realtor newsletter template, okay? You can go to Canva and make this very template. Then I'm gonna give you discover your circles of influence. So how do you build a database? Okay, you take this 145 questions, okay? You don't have to do this in one day, but go through it one by one. What are the names of your family members? What are the names of your spouse's family, extended family? What's the name's your best friend? What's your spouse's best friend? If you'll go through all this list, I guarantee you're going to have a minimum of 50 people, a minimum, okay? It's going to cause you to think about, oh, my insurance agent, oh, the person I met at the grocery store. Okay, so go through that, discover your our circle, and then the last one is, this is a real estate sales professional introduction letter. Dear so-and-so, I'm excited to tell you that I recently got my real estate license and I'm working with Realty One Group. I'm launching my new career. I will be in touch soon to follow up and look forward to helping you and anyone you know with their real estate dreams.
Where is
So,
Chip? Oh, right there.
so this is letting them know that you are going to keep being in touch with them. So I will send you a copy of all this. If you'll put your email in the chat box right now, and it's after 10 o'clock, it's 10:05. So we're going to go ahead and stop the share and end the recording.